Nick always looked at me with such anticipation.
Right, it is the 15th podcast. Which one is it?
Number 7.
Seven podcast. 7.
Morning everyone, welcome to the 7th podcast that we've done. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what's been happening, what we've got coming up in the gym. Perfect time to do that because it's the start of a new block, and then also it's the start of competition season really for the gym. So we're going to have a little discussion about competitions, bit of tactics, what's coming up in that side of things, and then we've got a few other bits and bobs to talk about. So it should be quite a good little episode. So let's start with John Lee. What's been up with you the last few weeks?
We'll start off with the big fella here. He got married. Congratulations, son. We were all a little tired from it. Yeah, it was a very good day. How'd it go, Michael?
Oh well, yeah, enjoyed it. I don't know what the plan really.
Well, she turned up, that was the start of the time, wasn't
Which
it?
was there the day before, so I had to turn up really. But now it was a really good day. Really enjoyed it. It was good to see everyone. And everything went to plan really. The speeches, I didn't bubble up, so it was a bonus.
Did you mumble?
I didn't know. I don't think I did.
To be fair, I was impressed with your speech, fella.
Everyone told me he did a
He
good
got
job.
people squatting. He had people laughing, crying. Happy days.
Shit, you did drunk.
Yeah. You know, I think I offended a few, but
You didn't call me Mama Bear, like.
yeah, I don't think it wasn't the best idea to go for your mum, your wife, and you. But I think it went alright. I hope it.
It was really good crack. I enjoyed the Kaylee,
Yeah. Just working on our coordination with the dancing.
Tell you
I've
what,
never seen so many smiles on people's faces. We'd never think we'd dance. Like,
I've got a great video of Dave and T having a little jig together. I think they were well oiled by that.
three sheets to the wind.
yeah, good fun.
It was really good.
Good fun.
So congratulations, Mick. All the best to you and Victoria. I know we've done our best to keep it a secret on this podcast, but Mick is now officially married and off into the sunset. Honeymoon next.
Yeah. Women are crying themselves to sleep.
I don't know how they're going to cope.
He's off the shelf.
So that's been the big stuff. So what about inside the gym? Last 6 weeks, what did we have?
So the last 6 weeks we had paused back squats, which actually we had decent feedback. Not many people enjoyed doing it, but actually got a lot from it. There was a few personal records, which wasn't the aim of that block, but I think when you're building an understanding of the movement, you tend to do that a little bit more. Like this next block has got back squats in again with the focus of going a little heavier, but we'll see where it takes with that. We also did power snatch. So again, building up the people's position on the setup. So we start with like a deadlift. So we'll get that right setup, and then obviously going into the power position as well. And again, this block it's going to move into the squat version, so it's just moved onto it. We had a little look at pull-ups as well. Pull-ups went quite well, building up a little bit of endurance in the pull-up, or the people who were just starting, getting an understanding of what their level of pull-up is. We had really good feedback with that as well. And split jerk. So the split jerk again, the main thing with that one is the timing and the foot position at the end. I mean, he's probably back us up on this, but I feel like people got that better understanding of that drive and that drop. Hopefully that will have a knock-on effect to this next block, which we'll go through in a second. But overall, the last block was pretty successful.
Yeah, I think so. I think I took quite a few of the sessions that had the split jerk in it.
Yeah, no one would have progressed in them sessions.
And one person in particular who I saw like at intervals throughout it was Kay. And at the start, that back heel was like really low, the coming in flat rather than being up in that toe, and their feet were like on a tightrope. And then so I kind of seen her in that first session, we've done a little bit, and then obviously you guys obviously worked her, throughout throughout the rest of the block, and then I seen her in the last one of the block, and the transition between that first one and the last one was like really noticeable. So you know, obviously, like you say, that 6 weeks, even if it's only one hitting it once a week,
Yeah, you make a difference, don't you?
make a big difference.
It's getting people to understand, like, it's not like a push press.
Why does he just laugh at me all the time? Like some sort of,
today I'm looking at you and just think,
some sort of like comic book character. It's like we're all friends, isn't it?
Sorry, mate. I'm just,
It's all right. It's all right.
I'll tell you.
Stay 11 minutes, John Lee instead.
So like getting people to understand that, like, it's not like the push press where you push the bar up, it's trying to get under the bar.
Yeah.
Getting people's head around that it's quite tricky, but I felt over the 6 weeks, like that foot position helps, and when people are like trotting under the bar, that like little rock out, there was overall a big change in that. So again, we weren't looking really for numbers unless you've been doing it for a while. We were looking more for understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite good. Did you notice anyone, Nick? Or?
I just can't pick anyone's names out at the minute, but I think there was a lot of people learning that foot placement and the split jerk. That was like a lot of people just struggling with that. Either the heel was landing flat, or the foot was turned
landing on that inset.
And it was sometimes getting them set up so when they started, the feet were straight in a straight line, rather than starting like that, because then when you go into your split, you're already having that back foot twisted out. So getting people, it's just little things where like you're making a massive difference.
I had people standing with like the line of the mat like in between the feet, just to give them that visual cue to stop them going on that tightrope. And like you say, it's amazing how fast people like pick up on those little
you're not developing the strength as much. It is a little bit, but like it's more the speed under the bar and moving around the bar. That was the main takeaway for people, and that's where they're seeing that they jump up in quite a weight with some of them. So it was that was the main bit where you
I think every session we got a PB, and again we weren't aiming for PBs in every session type of thing, but it was happening just purely because of an understanding.
Like you say, most people have got that strength. It's just getting that timing and that movement and realising it. So then, like you say, you're hitting the PB even with you're not actually getting any stronger. You're just doing the movement more proficiently.
Even Jordan, I think he hit 110 for 2.
It's
so it was like
that's class. That
it was really good.
I think they're
bringing it back down was hard.
back in shoulders, I mean, the back squat, like I've noticed, because this week it started with just without the pause, but the positions yesterday doing the back squats, everybody's position was really good, which was the focus last block, was to get people in that right position. I just feel everyone's depth there, feet's flat, knees are out, chest's up, everyone's bracing at the right time. It's like trying to get them to brace properly from the top of that, hold your breath, it's as if you're going underwater, and then you don't breathe out till you hit the top. Like last night was really impressive, like week 1.
Yeah.
So the last 6 weeks I feel is to give people an understanding of pretty much where they're going to be, because it won't feel as bad this month. Taking away the pauses, like a paused back squat is horrible. You know, when you hold that movement, you're just not confident you're getting back up. So hopefully this month numbers will go up. Like the focus is numbers this month.
So with that being said, what have we got on the cards?
So we've got obviously back squat, like we said. We've got the squat snatch. So we've had the power snatch in the last one, and then there's overhead squats in the one before that. So we're just putting them in together. So the first bit will start with more from the hang and just getting under the bar, nice and light, just speed under that bar, and then we'll go into that setup from the. I think this week was like 3 reps with 3 singles every 2 minutes. So it's just trying to get that catch balance and then stand. Then we're going into clean and jerk on another day. So again, people will be having the split jerk in again, and then toast the bar with a little bit of extra. So we've got toast the bar. This week we had dips, and then we're going to have handstand push-ups and rope climbs in different weeks. So that'll just be something a little bit extra in there, just so we're not just hammering the toes to bar.
Yeah.
Because it's just
Gets
add
quite
something
tricky,
else.
isn't it? Like the hands.
Yeah,
So if you do rolls.
My hands were in bits from that workout the other day.
That's 3 toes to bar.
Really, can't even think what it was, but my hands are like literally like
The rolling one.
there's the more balls.
Yeah, there's a lot of reps though. What is that? Tuesday's workout.
I just like they didn't rip or anything. They're just like today. They're just like feel like they're bruised. Do you know what I mean?
Bars are a little colder now.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little harder there. Yeah.
Getting so grief today. I can't. What have I done? What have I done to upset him? Because I look so good in my suit, I upstaged him a little bit. I think that's what it is. Was a good suit, wasn't it?
Yeah, like it, yeah.
Personally, for me, looking forward to the clean and jerks. I think, like you say, seeing people put that load like with what we did the last 6 weeks, I think that's good. I've seen some big improvements in people's cleans in general as well. I think the Olympic lifting class on the Sunday, we had some really good stuff on this Sunday, and then the one I did it before.
Yeah, John Harrison was doing alright,
Really good. It was good to see we had Lauren in as well, like come in, because obviously that's something she hasn't done before.
Yeah.
And so for her to come in, and she was like a bit intimidated because she hadn't really like done anything, and we had her working through literally the first time ever doing a clean, and then in the same class you've got Moz squat cleaning like whatever he was squat cleaning, you know, and then he was like offering Lauren help as I was maybe working with Rachel or whatever, and it's I love coaching the Ollie class, to be fair. I think it's a really good sort of environment like to go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like for those who don't know, we have an Olympic lifting class on a Sunday. The focus for the next few weeks is still squat clean. It's a Sunday at 10 o'clock, so it's open for anyone, beginners to advanced. It's quite relaxed, isn't it?
It's a different
class.
pace.
Yeah,
it's a different pace.
So you're not like having to rush into reward for time or for reps. It's literally just focusing on your movement, breaking the movement down. I enjoy coaching Ollie as well.
You've just got that little bit extra time that sometimes you don't have in a class, and sometimes when I'll do different things, like I'll be able to set people off in like small groups. You might have 2 people lift, and then you've got a little bit of time to have a little discussion with them before you move on to the next tier, and where you can't always do that in a normal class, but because you're in the Ollie, you might be progressing through 3 different movements, but they all link into each other, so that what we might have to in a normal class might be a 20-minute sort of focus. You've got 50 minutes to get through that same 20 minutes of work, and so you can really get into the kind of the bones or something that you don't necessarily normally have time to do.
It's not a massively fatiguing
No,
class
it's
either,
not.
as in you're not going to be crawling out here, but you're going to get some strength work and some positional work done. So if it's something you want to improve, I definitely recommend go. Like, regardless of your experience of it, I'll definitely recommend go.
And if it, like John Lee says, it's not massively fatiguing, and it is about moving. So you can do the 9 o'clock class, and then go into the Ollie class, and not even particularly lift heavy, and like focus on that movement and drill that positioning and stuff like that. So like, you know, there's that option as well if you're worried about, oh, will I be too tired? Yeah, you will be tired, but in the Ollie class you can go light, you can focus on your skill, focus on the movement, and then by the time you get to the end, then you might push the weight up a little bit, you know.
Yeah. So that class is there to include in your membership as well, everyone. So just get moving in on it. I mean, if we fill it and there's a demand, we could put another one on through the week. But for now, I think it's enough for now.
Yeah.
Again, just ask one of us if you're unsure about it, and we'll go through it.
Like I say, it doesn't matter if you've ever done it before or not. It's a really good environment, and like I said, that extra time, that will give that confidence. And we've still got gymnastics on a Thursday.
Thursday at 5:30. Yeah. So it's a new block again. We do like 3-week blocks for this. So the next block's going to be focusing a bit on pistol squats and handstand push-ups. So it's just some extra movements that you might not see as much in the main sort of blocks that we do. But again, it's just like the ollie where you'll just specialise on them. There's going to be no weight apart from your body weight, which is enough. But there's some just like different movements that we'll put in there. So Anthony normally takes that.
Yeah.
So it goes through that one, and he's good at that sort of stuff. But yeah, so again, if you're an outsider, you want to come in, you can still just pay for that. Membership as well.
Someone coming in. Sparky, you give us 2 seconds. Yeah, sorry. Go on, just continue with that. I'll be back. Sorry. Right, so.
Right, should we move on?
Yeah, so like I say, main sort of thing that we thought we'd just have a little chat about is it's like competition season starting. So we've got the Castle Games coming up on the 18th and 19th, which is 19th and 20th, which is on the Sunday. We've got you, John Lee, Sarah,
Natalie, T, Victoria.
That's it, isn't it? So these guys are on the Sunday competing in the Masters division, and then on the Saturday we've got myself, Rach, Amy, Holly, Jordan and Dan in the scale division. Not got any RX teams this year, have we? But
no.
But it's down at Middlesbrough Sports Village. We had a few teams in last year. These guys actually were the champions, so that was good to watch. And they'll be looking to try and retain their title with a strong performance this year. We've seen some of the clues on some of the workouts, but as ever, could be absolutely anything. like the lateral thinking that goes into these clues, like if you ever get one, like I'll give you the money yourself.
Just get everyone talking and thinking about it, so it's not bad.
But we have had the first qualifier for the Northern Championships confirmed, and I don't know how many pairs we've got in total across it, but I think there must be about 10 pairs across all the divisions.
Yeah, we've got. I think we were third highest box.
Okay.
Put the pairs in. I think John was telling us. So yeah, we're gonna try and get people together a little bit and make it a bit of a night. So we know like people are starting to do the first one, just to get a bit of a feel for it, or just get them videos in. But we're looking for making like a Thursday night lights on the 24th of November. So just before, so if you do it, I wouldn't recommend you try to do them all, but maybe one, maybe two if they're not too taxing, if it's a lift or something like that. Get them done on the Thursday night, and then it gives you, if you mess it up a little bit, it gives you a few days to then do it. But it's hopefully try and create a bit of that atmosphere as well within the gym and help each other along. And if people are doing it together, it always encourages.
Oh yeah. Well, when we did the Friday night lights, obviously for the Open, it's just like buzzing.
Yeah.
And everyone just like you get that extra 5%, isn't it? It's like the 12th man in football or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't want to look like an idiot in front of people, so and you just put that little bit extra in. I think John Lee will hopefully join us back in a minute, so he can join in. But one of the things I think for me that I thought would be good to have a little chat on is how you approach any of these workouts, any of these qualifiers, and a couple of little hints and tips. I think. For me, that's one of the things I always enjoy, like when I'm watching CrossFit competitions and like whether it's the games or the road invitation that was on last weekend. Like, I like looking at how different people approach different tasks, different challenges based on their strengths and weaknesses, and that's something I like to try and bring into the classes when I'm coaching as well. But I think whatever the workout is, I think one of the first tips is something me and John Lee talked about is don't be afraid to play to your strengths. It sounds silly, but you can almost feel a bit like, oh, we'll just split it 50-50 because maybe one of you doesn't want to upset the other or whatever. But once you get to competition time, if you know you've got specialist exercise, like Mick on the rower or John Lee doing burpees, when it's like a little movement and a big movement, you know what I mean? Like if you've got those specialist.
What do you mean by that, Mark?
Well, I just mean that, when you've not got very far to travel, a burpee is a lot easier than when you've got a long way to go. But in turn, on the rower, when you can only pull that handle 3 or 4 inches, it makes it very difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like, but so if you've got
professional, be professional.
exactly. If you've got a specialist movement.
So say if like me and T, it's like we've looked at that first workout and T's going to be more going towards the end. So see if we split it in 15s, I would try and start the first 15 and then he would do 15 and then I would probably try and do 15, but then if I don't, he can pick it up.
Yeah.
He can pick, see if I only get 10, he could probably just do the 20 because he's got that in him. So it's like little things like that where you can sort of like rely on him a little bit and then that could give me a bigger stint on the rower. So then when it goes to 40 calories, like I might try and hit 25,
yeah.
and then leave him 15. And then it's like, the idea was to try and get through it as quick as you can and not sort of point score on your partner.
Yeah.
Because that's, you work against it. You want to try and hit the same numbers, but you're best off just trying to just do as best you can and then pass it over.
Yeah.
And you know, like I've done workouts with John, and it's like you almost, because you train each other that much, you almost know when they're fatiguing and like I'll just do an extra 2.
Yeah.
And then that'll just, because you can see I'm fatiguing, I'll just do an extra 2, like yeah, cheers mate. And it's like,
but that's that communication or the transition. So if you are going to change, so see if I'm starting to struggle, it makes spotting it. He could maybe see it, me, John just put it down, and then I put it down, he's going to pick it straight up again. Because sometimes, like, you know how you feel, but your partner can see that your movement's starting to change, and you've still got the rest of the workout to go. So it's best to pop it down, let your mate do a little bit more, give you just that little bit of a pit stop, really. It's good to have a plan before the WOD.
Yeah.
But plans sometimes don't always work.
Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson said.
It is that. So you go in with a plan. If it's not happening, just
have a plan B.
It's your ego. You just need to check your ego a little.
If it's not going like that, like we're going to go to this, because some of the time if you don't have that plan B, you sometimes lose your head or your partner loses their head a little bit. And it's like just go with this, and then we can, especially on the final, like when if you qualify, then you definitely need that plan B because you've only got one chance at it. Where this you could go so far and then like my hands messed up my own. Just start again.
I think you've just done that today there, and like you can critique where you went right and wrong.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, we can always do better the second time you do a one. Like there's always a way. But I
Twice.
I did 5 times. But yeah, so it's like there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, on the day, it's like no one knows the WOD really until you get there. So communication between the two is key.
I think it's as well. I think if there's ever a workout and you want some advice on how to attack it, give us a shout because like there are subtleties and nuance to workouts, such as when you've got like a redundant exercise, so something's already hitting one part of your body and then you're moving on to the next part of your next exercise and it's hitting the same part of your body. It's like wall balls into a row, very similar. But like, how can I mitigate that? Like, how can I make that not as bad? There's different ways and there's a lot of subtleties to it, Like, so if you do want help in that, is there anything you can do to make it easier? Then give us a shout. So like, from my experience of doing that one this morning, when you're coming off the wall balls onto the rower, if you start with a bit of an upper body focus while your legs kind of flesh out and then start to get those legs going into it, after you come off those wall balls, that helps us. If I went into my kind of normal rowing technique of that big leg drive straight away, after my legs were already like jelly off the wall balls. So there's so many little things that come into these. So if you do want to, shoot some ideas, what do you think we should do on this? Give any of us a shout, because I think me and John may have talked about it before in the past, that gamifying stuff and competing, like we get like excited about it and thinking that way. Some people don't, but we like to get into those sorts of things. So if you do want anything like that, give us a shout.
That's the fun of it, though.
It is.
It's like a game of chess that you just work out that tactic. as well as your fitness.
It is, and you see it all the way through. Like I was watching the Rogue Invitational the other day. It's totally beside the by, but Chandler Smith had a totally different technique on the skier to everyone else. And you sort of think at the top level of the game, everyone's going to be doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and then not.
Was he doing a split stance? Was he?
No, he was doing like sort of a 2-stroke motion. So he was doing like one really big pull,
Yeah.
and then one short pull, and then having like a really long rest. So obviously he was hitting like a big calorie on the first one,
Yeah.
accelerating it through on the second one, so it's pulling it up higher,
Yeah.
and then taking a really long pause, and he was beating everyone on the ski, and you're sort of thinking, like, no one else in the field is doing it, so even if these are the best in the world, and you've still got someone who's like going, actually, this is a little bit different.
What was after this year? Because I think I remember.
I can't remember off the top of my
I
head.
remember there was some of them doing the split
Yeah,
stance.
so Rich Froning was doing the
just,
split
just
stance.
to save your legs for the next bit, and it's just little things like that. Like for health and fitness, the most efficient way is the way that everyone pretty much does it. But when it comes to a competition, it's like, how can I rest the part of my body for the next bit?
Yeah.
If it's right or wrong, it's different, but competition's totally different.
100%. And that's what really I enjoy about it.
That's why it's good, yeah. It's just that extra thinking, which makes it a sport, not just fitness.
Oh yeah,
It's a sport.
100%. Anything else on the competitive side of things from you? Anything that particularly stands out to you?
No, I haven't really done that many competitions this year, so it's, I'm looking forward to getting into them and having a bash at them. So
I'm going to get in trouble for talking too much of Lucy, but one other thing on the competitive side, I know John Lee's told me about it, something that Mick's like really good at is like this poker face.
Yeah.
Like no matter how tired you are, if you could not show it, it can help. So if you're stood next to that bar, he is, and if so when you're with your partner and you're doing these qualifiers, didn't wander off. Like when your partner's working, be there ready to go. No matter how tired you are, stand close, stay ready.
On that note, you get to a point where you're both that tired. And I remember I was going into a handstand walk with Mick, and it was my turn to go next, and I was absolutely shattered. So it was like we went back to being a caveman. It was like, Mick was like, no, like in his head, it's your turn. So Mick just went, there wasn't actually any talking.
I just done the cluster.
Yeah,
I was like,
Mick had just finished the cluster. But I was just shattered, and I was like, please Mick, do it. So I just sort of like did a caveman slap on him, and then he looked as if to go, but it's just funny because it does, you want to walk away, but yeah, you're right.
I don't think I could at that point because I was, you had a bit of a gap because we were on the end for the clusters. I had T and Nick behind us, but I hadn't, it was quite close.
You had Nick falling on you, mate.
I didn't even know what he was doing. I thought he was just holding my legs, just so I couldn't move. But yeah, so I couldn't walk back. But I remember one point you stepping back, and I was like, oh, I just won it. I broke in. And then you were like, why did you do an extra rep?
I did want it. I just needed a break. But when we got to the handstand wall, I was done then. But I didn't realise, because he's that good at poker face, I thought he was alright. So when I went, he did the same. I was like, oh, he's not alright.
But I think that's like I say, they're probably the main things for me. Don't be afraid to play to each other's strengths.
Yeah.
Don't walk away. Stand tall. Be strong. Be ready to rock. And then lastly, enjoy it. Just go crash. Motivate each other.
Pressure on yourself.
Yeah. And then penultimate thing, Christmas party.
Yeah, so we're having a bit of a nightmare this year with it because we did book a venue, and then we realised it was on the 25th of November, which then we realised about the World Cup and the England game was on, and we thought like, a lot of people want to be with their friends or family, and then it'll be a bit of a downer. So we did then look at bringing it into the box on the 26th, but then again, it was logistics wise, it was getting the heaters in and things like that. So we've moved to Champs, where we're going to have a sectioned area out and get people in there. We can still spill over onto the other side, but mainly having people in there, just to have a bit of a gathering really. And it's not as how we'd like it to be, but it's a good position to be in, where I'm sure we'll have a great night.
Yeah, it's still a chance to get together outside of the box, have a laugh and carry on, Christmas tree together, celebrate the year. It'll still be good. There's no dance floor there, but I'm sure between where
Mick will make a dance
we
floor.
can make a dance. Yeah, definitely between where. Be fair, that would be class.
I would. We should just have a Christmas cake.
Just gonna be Murray show on the drums.
Ian Murray on his bod ring, he was absolutely loving that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
And we've also got coming up week commencing the 21st is going to be Bring a Friend Week. Alright, we talked last time about motivation at this time of year and about, you know, getting yourself into the gym, so we thought putting in a Bring a Friend Week, you know, bringing that social option, bringing someone in who might be looking for that boost in exercise, so we thought that now would be a good time to do it before we hit December. So it'll be week commencing the 21st. I think, John Lee, you're going to have a look at what the days will be best based on level of complexity of movements and stuff like that.
So we'll keep you posted on Boxmate, so we'll just keep an eye out for the post on the dates. Like I say, just bring a friend and give us a heads up.
Excellent. And then lastly, we've had a couple of people approach us with a couple of topics that they'd like us to discuss. So me, Mick and John are going to go in and do a bit of research around those, and maybe see if we can't speak to some, you know, some kind of field experts as well that might be able to give us some pointers. But if there's any topics at all that you think, you know, would be really useful or really beneficial, then give us a shout. We've kind of covered let's say a bit of competing today. We've done why to do CrossFit. We've done a bit on the kind of psychosocial model of coming to train. So it's kind of branching out into, you know, what works. What would you guys be interested in hearing about? You know, between us, we've got probably the best part of 40 years of experience of working in fitness across different sports and activities, working with all different demographics. So we know a lot, but also we've got a lot of contacts and people who are, you know, specialise in certain fields. So if there is anything, then maybe drop it in the comments, drop us a message, and we can do our best to kind of look into them.
Cool.
Anything else from any of you? Oh, one more thing we should probably say. Victoria, have a wonderful birthday.
Yeah.
Who's Victoria again?
Oh, that's it.
Comments on these.
That's it. Like there,
That's Michael's there.
Like,
Big Mike's wife.
Big Mike's wife, right? Yeah, so.
It doesn't feel right hearing it like that.
Yeah.
It'll take a while to set in. That ring will start feeling less heavy after a while. You'll not notice it's there.
Cool. Good.
Brilliant. Look forward to seeing you all in the gym, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you.